Welcome back. IGP, sir, recently Amnesty International accused the police of human rights abuses. The police, of course, rose stoutly in its own defense and promised to investigate. In December 2012, to mark the International Human Rights Day, the current Attorney General, Mr. Mohamed Adoke, also accused the police of human rights violations and extrajudicial killings. What needs to happen for this to no longer be the case? And what have your investigations revealed since those accusations were made?
Let me perhaps tell you the one that I don't like to forget before I address this issue. You saw how police had problem in US recently with a resultant demonstration. You've seen that kind of thing happen in all parts of the world. There has always been the problem of defending the law, the provisions of the law, protecting the police officer himself, protecting his own office, that's the station, and at the same time, protecting the rights of any person encroaching on all these rights of the police officer have rest.
After all, the police officer has rights
Correct.
as well. Absolutely
so
true.
I felt I should put this as a background. One, all our laws, and I mean it, there is no any part of our law that supports torture to get information from anybody. I have been an investigator myself. I was ACCID in Abuja for quite a number of years. There's hardly no day we don't arrest suspects. There's hardly no day we don't charge suspects to court. And now, as IGP, if I tell you, because every commissioner of police reports to me not only the situation in the state where his command is located, but also he reports to me incidents that happen. Day in, day out, we arrest kidnappers, we arrest armed robbers, we arrest violent criminals, and we charge them to court. What is surprising to me is that nobody talks about this, including the Amnesty. They don't come out for any moment and say, well, kudos to the Nigeria police. In the last 1 month, they charged so-so number of suspects to court. Or in the last 1 month, they made so-so convictions. Of course, not the police alone when it comes to conviction. The Office of the Attorney General, at the Federation, at the state level, the judiciary, and so on. Kudos. Why don't you say kudos? But then, of course, there's nothing wrong in reporting observed incidents. The only problem, perhaps, is that most times, and I'm not saying at all times, we don't have any problem with amnesty. You are helping us if you report to us inadequacies so that we can adjust, so that we can correct our own officers. After all, we are bound to obey what the law says. We are bound to operate within the limits of the law. But then a situation where, without reference to anybody at all, you just go on the air internationally, you just go viral, talk loud. That is perhaps why we responded. It wasn't meant to cause any ill feelings or to even disagree with the Amnesty International. Rather, the aim was perhaps to draw their attention on the necessity of cross-checking. Maybe if you cross-check what you have, these days of photo tricks, maybe what was given to you was just a photo trick. Or maybe it was even brought out from the archives. issue that had been investigated, action taken, maybe even the police men concerned have been dismissed or even charged to court. And now you are bringing it again. These are the kind of, what we feel there's no fair play in it. And we hope Amnesty and any other interest group in that category will consider the necessity of cross-checking before, going into air.
The judicial system has been accused of contributing to the incidents of extrajudicial killings by the police over the years, maybe not currently. How complicit is the judiciary in the delay of, in keeping people behind bars, in detaining them for a long time? How complicit is the judiciary?
Well, I cannot be a spokesman of the judiciary, but by the special grace of God, I was opportune to represent the Nigeria police in the NGI board. The NGI board is perhaps the highest meeting of the leadership of the judiciary in Nigeria. And on several occasions, issues of delay in the dispensation of justice was brought in. You can't lump it all on the judiciary. I don't think it's fair enough. It's something, we are so many involved in the dispensation of justice. We are so many involved with different responsibilities. And I think we all had some form of, inadequacies. And in that meeting, our attentions are drawn to them and we try to correct them, including the prison officials. You remember the prisons are responsible for bringing, now it used to be the police, but now the prisons are responsible for bringing accused from remand to the courts. So we all have our own responsibilities. And I think the issue of the delay is being addressed seriously. At least I had attended several meetings and I saw the seriousness, the indication of seriousness of concern, not only on the part of the chair, that is the Chief Justice of Nigeria herself, but also other stakeholders, including the Nigeria Bar Association, whose president is also co-opted into those meetings.
Perhaps the most widely anticipated event, national event, is the 2015 general elections. How prepared is the police for the big task?
Well, I must tell you that preparations for national elections do not take place in a day. In the Nigeria police, we've been preparing for the elections for something close to a year now. And incidentally, I chaired the committee that prepared this police arrangements of security for the 2015 elections.
Okay, so now you're here to implement it.
Well, I will also say that I'm glad that that responsibility is on me, and I will do all my possible best to discharge it efficiently, and that has already started.
What are the changes that we're likely to see from what had happened in the past when it comes to election policing?
Well, you'll see quite a number of changes. We have three main responsibilities in terms of the period of the election itself, the period before the polls, the actual casting of votes, the day of the casting of votes, including the counting and so on, the collation, the counting, which takes sometimes a day in some cases, 2 days in others, or even more. And then the period after the announcement of the results. Those are the periods, 3 periods that we really share the responsibilities. And in almost all of them, you will see changes, but changes for the better.
Still talking about the elections, you have been quoted as saying that the police will stop political aspirants with criminal records. Despite the existence of such records, both here and abroad, a certain James Ibori still managed to become two-time governor of Delta State. What do you plan to do to ensure that people like this don't even get to have the opportunity to be elected?
Well, I don't quite agree with you that it remained a controversial thing, and I don't want to be part of that controversy, whether he was convicted or not. I don't want to be part of it because if it was settled, let it remain settled. If it has not been settled, then interest groups can do whatever they want to do with it. But let me say that I do not have the power to stop anyone from contesting election. But I have a responsibility to make a report on anyone wanting to contest if in any way we have records indicating that he was a criminal and the law that permits him to contest for that office states that an ex-convict, for example, cannot contest. If the law says an ex-convict can contest, so be it. I don't have any problem with that.
Let's go back to the police and the police, the personnel. There have been a lot of talk in recent past about improving the welfare of the policemen, and several reports have, I'm sure, have been produced. What's keeping them from being implemented?
I don't agree with you that the reports are not being implemented. Let me even tell you what.
Are you happy with the welfare of the policemen? Are they happy with their welfare?
Of course.
You were once in charge of welfare of the police.
Of course there have been improvements. And, you know...
In what areas?
In several areas. In several areas. Of course, one of it is the fact that the policemen, now more than ever before, are enjoying the benefits of the implementation of police reforms. Before now, the reports do not get beyond the pages of the reports they were written. And what happened to us is very clear. You know, we became tired of reports upon reports upon reports upon reports. And some of us even got lost that these reforms were not real, kind of. But here we are, since the Eradua-Jonathan, regime, since the submission of the reports, in that period, there have been deliberate and clear efforts, including the dedication of funds for the purpose of police reforms. This is real.
Inspector General of Police, we thank you again for your time.
Thank you indeed. It's my pleasure.
Thank you very much. And we thank you for watching. Please join us again next time when View from the Top returns. But between now and then, let me know what you think of the Inspector General of Police's comments by going to our website, channelstv.com. Also, please follow me on Twitter @ModeleSY so we can exchange thoughts. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.